Borda, my Portland family. I am coming to you from Wales, my new home. Borda means good morning in Welsh. Welsh is the second language that is spoken here. Behind me, you will see my new town of Porthcawl. And then also behind me, you will see the sea. Porthcawl sits on the west end side of Wales. So I'm going to give you just a brief tour of my new home. I want you to take a look just a minute as you see cars drive by. Do you notice anything that might be different? Yes, I bet you have guessed by now that cars drive on the opposite side of the roads. Now, it's not that it's wrong, it's just something that the United Kingdom does differently than the United States. And I don't know if you've noticed or if you can really see in the cars, but the steering wheels are also on the opposite sides. Come on, and I'll show you inside my vehicle. I wanted to show you the western part of Wales. This is the coast. This is literally about a 2-minute walk from my house here. And along the sea, you will notice there are a lot of rock edges here. And the tide is actually coming in. And you can see that the water even comes up closer this way because you notice all the different pockets of water there. And that's what that is. It's about 42 degrees here today, quite windy. The wind gusts actually here can get up to about 60 or 70 miles an hour, and that can make it feel really cold. But even in the cold, the sea is still gorgeous. This is Portland Elementary, and if you follow along up through the New England states, across the Atlantic Ocean, there is where Wales is. It's 3,900 miles away. Some fun facts about Wales is that there are twice as many sheep as there are people, and we are surrounded by several sheep farms. Wales is known for having the most castles out of any country in Europe. There are 600 castles, but only 100 of those remain today. The oldest castle is Chepstow Castle, with construction beginning in 1067. So that's a great math problem for the older students to figure out how old Chepstow Castle is. And as you can see in the picture, that is a Welsh dragon. That's the national symbol for Wales. And that is also the flag for Wales. The United Kingdom is made up of 4 different countries. You have Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and then England. And the story we're going to be reading today is about a girl who moves from Trinidad to England. And here is a map I have done I put a rectangle around Kentucky so you would just kind of have an idea of where you are. Here is Trinidad. And then which is part of South America, and then if you follow along, there is the United Kingdom. So she moved quite a ways away. I also wanted to introduce to you some vocabulary that you're going to see in the book. Marmy, which means mom. Darty, which means dad. You're also going to notice learnt and dreamt. Usually what we say is learned, spelled with ed at the end, and dreamed, also spelled with ed at the end. That's just part of the English language, that you will see some words are spelled differently here. So come along and let's read Coming to England. Coming to England by Floella Benjamin and Diane Ewan. My name is Floella. I lived on the beautiful island of Trinidad with Marmee, Darty, and my brothers and sisters. One day at breakfast, Darty saw an advert in the newspaper. "We have been invited to go to England," he said. Darty always wanted to be a jazz musician in England, so he packed his saxophone in his suitcase and set off. We didn't want Darty to leave Trinidad, but the house still felt happy with my two sisters, three brothers, Marmee, and me. Every day at school, before lessons started, all the children sang, "God Save the Queen." We learned that Trinidad was part of the British Empire. We learned about England far away on the other side of the world. We imagined Darty there playing his saxophone, wearing a coat to keep him warm. I dreamt of meeting the Queen. Each day we went to the market to buy mangoes, breadfruit, and sweet potatoes. The months went past. In the hot season, we had to move very slowly. Then, when the wet season came, we would dance outside under the huge, warm raindrops. After a year, Darty left. Marmee packed her bags and went to join him in England. She took my littlest sister Cynthia and brother Junior with her. Sandra and I had to stay behind with our wicked auntie and wait for Marmee's letters. One day, a letter arrived from Marmee. It said we were finally going to England. We jumped for joy. Even better, our brothers Lester and Ellington were coming as well. Now it was our turn to pack. We didn't have any warm clothes, but we packed our prettiest dresses. It took 15 days to sail to England. We saw flying fish and seagulls. The ship was like a floating skyscraper, but our cabin was tiny. We got into all sorts of mischief on the boat with no parents around. We even helped in the kitchen. The closer we got to England, the colder it became. We thought about our lessons on British history at school. What would England be like? "It will be a giant iceberg," said Lester. "Don't be silly," said Sandra. "It won't be that cold." On the day we arrived in Southampton, we did agree on one thing. We all put our best clothes in case we were going to meet the Queen. We didn't see the Queen at the dock, but Marmee was there, waving up at us. I thought she looked like an angel. She gave me the biggest hug and a blue knitted cardigan to keep me warm. "Let's go home," she said. We found ourselves in a land of fast underground trains and moving staircases. But London didn't feel very welcoming, and people weren't very kind. We all lived in one room, so we missed our lovely big house in Trinidad. But we were a family again. Our new home might not be what we had expected, but we would work hard and life would be better. I was so excited to start a new school, but our classmates had never seen black children before. They called us names. "They don't ask us to play with them," I told Marmee. But after a while, we became friends. At first, coming to England was not as nice as I thought it would be, but little by little, we settled in and it felt like home. I still dreamt of meeting the Queen. And one day when I was all grown up, I did. The end. Wasn't that a great story of how Floella and her family moved from Trinidad to England to begin a new life in London? But it wasn't all what she had expected, but yet she showed great courage and determination. And I know that some of you know how um, you understand how Floella felt because you have moved to a new place. And I have felt, the same way coming to a new country, but it's taken great courage and determination, but we are loving the area. Of course, we do miss our family and friends and our Portland family, but this is a time for new adventures and new beginnings. But until next time, as they say here, goodbye, cheerio.